It's the morning of day 1C. We're about 55 minutes late getting in, but we're going to register the main event. In the past, I've done a little bit of low variance strategy, but today we're not doing that. We're going for the chips today. We're gonna swipe our card. We're gonna print our ticket. Main event, print, and we're in. We're in the main event. Good luck, us. Paris? All right, I guess we gotta go to Paris. So yeah, 60K starting. I'm not gonna look to avoid putting chips in. I'm gonna be putting chips in if I feel like it's right. I busted one time on day one before. I mean, it's possible that today's another day like that because I'm not gonna be afraid to bust. And for that reason, you never know what's gonna happen. You're gonna find out how the tables play at the beginning. You're gonna see if people are willing to fold, how much they value their tournament life, how much day two means to them, making it to day two, and then we'll make our decisions from there. But yeah, I feel ready. I'm so ready to play. Good luck to us. We sit down, get dealt our first hand, and we are officially in the main event. My first spot to get involved comes on the button with King-Queen offsuit. Facing a 3x from the cutoff to 600, I decide to 3-bet to 1.8k. It folds back to the original opener in the cutoff, and he calls. Flop comes Queen-10-6 rainbow. Good flop for me, I have top pair. He checks, and I put in a c-bet of 1500. Opponent calls, and we go to the turn, which is the deuce of hearts. He checks again, and I bet once again 3k this time. My opponent finds the call once again, and we go to a very dicey river, which is the 10 of hearts, bringing in the backdoor flush draw, and also completing trips for 10x. This time my opponent decides he wants to lead. He leads out 7,000. It's a dicey spot for me. I don't love getting bet into here. I would have preferred to see more of a blocker sizing from him, but regardless, I feel like I have to pay this bet off, so I put in the call. He shows Queen Jack. We get him by 1 pip, and we're off to a nice start in the main event. We find another spot with our first real hand. We pick up 2 black kings, the Cowboys. The same opponent who I just played the last hand against opens to 500 from +1, and I'm in +2 with these kings. I put in the 3-bet to 1600. It folds to the button, who seems like a very competent and aggressive player. He cold 4-bets to 4.5k. In my mind now I'm thinking, okay, this is an opponent that is splashy. He's going to have a wide range. What's my 5-bet size here? What am I looking to click it back to? And while all of this is going through my mind, the big blind wakes up with a cold 5-bet to 15,200. With 2 kings here, with 350 big blinds to start on level 1 of the main event, what am I supposed to do here? I've never folded kings in my life before. I go in the tank, I think about it for a while. The guy who put in the cold 5-bet has been completely in line. I haven't seen him do anything in the half an hour I've been here so far. In the end, I decide I'm probably going to regret sticking this many chips in and seeing aces more than I would regret folding incorrectly here with kings. I find the fold for the first time I've ever folded kings in my life. Such a crazy spot so early in the main event, but it felt right. We get to our next spot where once again the opponent to my right is opening 3x to 600 here. I have King-Queen offsuit. I decide I want to enter the pot as a 3-better once again, and since we're in such early positions, I want to go a size that can define the range a little bit more. I 3-bet to 2k. To my surprise, the opponent to my immediate left cold 4-bets it to 5k.
5,000.
It folds around back to me, and there's 2 things going through my mind at this point. One, the perception that I'm giving off, the fact that I've only 3-bet hands that I've entered pots in. It could make people think I'm a little bit wider and have it less. Secondly, his 5k sizing is very suspect to me. I read it as a hand that doesn't want to fold but wants to avoid cold calling. I don't think it's the top of his range. It's probably something like ace-jack suited or pocket 10s at best. As you can see, I decide to click it back once again. I 5-bet to 13.6k. I'm expecting to get the fold here. I don't really want to go out of position with this hand, but I don't think he's going to continue. After about 30 seconds go by, he decides to fold, and we win the hand. And then we win another small pot with our hand of the hour, King-Queen offsuit, to take us into break 1 with a very positive start. First break of the day. We played about an hour. Some wild stuff. Or I mean one wild hand at least, where I folded kings to a cold 5. The more time that went on, I think it was the right decision. But what a crazy spot to start off with. Let me know what you think about those kings. I mean, I don't know. I think it was the right fold. It's the main event. It's the first level.
Good fold.
I feel like it was the right fold. So we have 78.2k now on the break. Good start. We played an hour. That's 1 level down and 4 to go. Right out of the break, we win a small one with ace-5 offsuit, and then we lose a small one right back with ace-10 of clubs. On this next hand, I'm opening Jack 10-0 from middle position to 700 at 300 big blind, and I'm getting a call from only the button, going heads up to the flop out of position. The flop comes 9-8-6. Not particularly great for either of our ranges, maybe slightly better for his, but my hand right here is good enough to bet and call a raise, so I want to put a little c-bet in. I make it 800. He calls, and we go to a turn which is an absolute bink, 7. I make the nut straight. How do I want to approach this? I'm first, and I check to him. He bets 1600, and what I want to do is charge the max for a 10. I'm not going to let him get off cheap here, so I decide I want to raise right now. I check raise to 5500.
Got a raise.
Just dreaming of a setup scenario where he has a 10 here, but unfortunately he folds. We win that pot, move on to the next one. Still at 300 big blind and facing a raise to 800, we peel King Jack of clubs in the big blind. I defend and we go 4-way to the flop, which comes King 10-3 with 2 spades. I check and the opener c-bets 2200. The button calls and it's back to me. His large c-bet size looks pretty strong, but I have some backdoor draws. I have top pair. I can't fold now. I put in the call, and the turn is the 7 of spades. I check and the aggressor now slows down this time. He checks. The button also checks, and we go to the river, which is the Jack of diamonds. Now I have top 2 pair. I do still lose to some flop sets, but I don't think anyone can have a flush here when it checks through on the turn. So I want to get some value from a hand like ace king, maybe a hand like king queen. Maybe the button even has king 10. I bet 6100 and get called by only the player to my left. Unfortunately, he shows us pocket 10s and flopped a set. One of the hands we were worried about a little bit there, but no big deal. On to the next hand. I wind up hitting a little bit of a stretch where I play mostly insignificant pots. Put a little bit of chips in here with ace queen, end up having to fold. Pick up queen jack of hearts, put in some small chips again, end up winning a little one there. Same story with queen nine of spades, putting some chips in, ended up folding. Nothing significant at all. Ace nine of diamonds, we pick up a small one. All of this leads into this next hand, which is a massive hand that we end up playing. Starting this hand with just over 60k, it folds to me on the button, and I open to 700 with jack 9 offsuit. The small blind calls, and the big blind 3-bets to 2.6k. In position this deep, I gotta at least see a flop, so I call, and the small blind folds. We go heads up to a flop, which is ace 10-2 with 2 hearts. Not a good flop for my hand, but the big blind checks to me, and I know if I want any chance of winning this pot, it's gonna require me bluffing. So I fire out 3k, and he calls. The turn's the 9 of hearts, bringing in the flush. He checks again. And when he takes this passive line post-flop after 3-betting, there's a lot of hands he can have that don't like this board very much. I decide another small bet is the way to go, and I fire out 5k. Unfortunately, he calls once again though, and the river is the 10 of hearts. He checks again, and now I'm trying to decide what should I do here. Do I bluff again? I've made it to the river with very low showdown equity. Eventually I decide it is worth another bet. I do want to bluff at this river. There are plenty of hands I can still fold out here. So I bet here 11.2k, and my opponent goes deep into the tank. But eventually, he does what we needed him to do. He finds the fold, and we pick up a massive, massive one right there. The very next hand, I'm once again opening to 700 from the cutoff this time with king 2 of clubs, and the same opponent from the previous one 3-bets me once again to 2.6k, this time out of the small blind. It folds back to me, and for the same reasons as the last one, I'm not folding. I put in the call, and we go heads up to the flop, which is king 10-5. Good flop for me, I have top pair. He checks, and I fire out 2200. He calls, and the turn's an 8. This time he decides he wants to lead. He bets 4k into me, and I call. River, another 8. He leads again, this time for 6,000, and I call once again. He shows us exactly what we were hoping to see, pocket queens, and we win another nice pot, taking us into the second break of the day.
All right, we're on the second break of the day. 2 levels down, 3 levels to go. Came back from that break, we had 78k. Won the first 2 hands back. I was up to 80 at one point. Then I just went on a little downswing, lost a bunch of hands, or lost a couple hands, the hands I was playing. Was down to 61, and then like 5-10 minutes before break, had a couple spots back to back. We have 88k, let's keep it going.
We come right out of the break with our foot still on the gas, picking up a small one with queen 10 offsuit, and then 3-betting ace 9 out of the big blind against the late position open, and barreling twice and getting the fold on the turn. A couple more small pots go our way, and then we find ourselves in this spot with ace queen on the button, facing an open to 1100 from early position and a flat from the low jack. I 3-bet to 4200, the original opener folds and the low jack calls, so we go heads up to the flop, which comes 7-7-5. He checks to me, and this isn't a great flop for my exact hand, but my range is going to still contain a lot of overpairs here, and he's not going to be very heavy here on 7x. So I see about 1/3 of the pot, and he comes along with a call. Turn is a king. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful card to see. Because when we think about it, what king X is he going to have here? When he flats the open pre and then only back calls my 3-bet, we can pretty safely take ace king out of his range. He checks to me, and the types of hands that I'm expecting him to have here are middling pairs, something like maybe pocket 8s, pocket 9s. It's a great spot to size up on the turn, so I fire 10,000. He does end up finding the fold, which my camera didn't pick up. I actually ran out of storage space on this hand, ended up having to scramble to delete some stuff and free up some space right after this hand ended. But he did end up finding the fold as we were expecting. Another pot coming our way. 2.5 levels in, and it's a great start to the main event.
All right, we're moving over to the Horseshoe room. 22 minutes left till dinner break. 95K right now. Staying with the same table though. We're all moving over together. We're gonna stay in the same seats. 20 till dinner break.
Daniel, you misplayed that hand, Daniel.
Daniel, get the camera out of my face.
Daniel, I thought you wanted a picture. I heard you wanted a picture with me.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's do it. All right, we're in the Horseshoe. Table 4, 6, 3. Keeping the same players at our table. Keeping the same seats, same positions. 95.4K. About 15 minutes till dinner break.
Attention all players to the main event. Complete your current hand. After current hand players on a 75-minute dinner break.
On the final hand before the dinner break, I open Jack 8 of hearts from +1 and get a call from the hijack as well as both blinds. The flop is 7-6-6 with 2 hearts. Both blinds check to me, and I c-bet 1,300. The player in position of the hijack calls, and both blinds fold. The turn is the 3 of hearts, completing my flush. My range contains plenty of vulnerable hands that do not like this turn. I think this turn sets up nicely for him to put a bet in position if I check to him here. So that is what I do. I check it over to him, but unfortunately he checks it back. When the river comes Jack of spades, and we've both taken sort of a passive line, check on the turn, I want to go polar here with my bet size. So that's what I do. I bet the pot 6,600, and my opponent folds.
Okay, so we just finished the third level of the day. 3 down, 2 to go. We came back with 88.9, and we finished that level with 92.3. So we have 92.3K. We're gonna come back to 500 big blind. We have close to 200 big blinds. Feeling good. I have all this time to kill right now because this dinner break section line, whatever, this dinner break jam is crazy. Look at that jam. Trying to get out of here for the dinner break. But yeah, we're cruising along, feeling strong. We're gonna keep grinding. And 75 minutes till we're back in action. Let's go. So I took all y'all's advice on dinner break. I didn't eat. We're not gonna be drowsy coming back. Feel good. Feeling good coming back in. Jeff, are you playing?
I am, yes.
How you doing?
Well, I'm on to day 2,
Okay, so
which is
back
something you have to do.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to catch up.
How you doing? So,
I have like 92.
oh, fantastic.
Good start.
Yeah, good start to say the least.
Things started nicely out of break. I win the very first hand that I play coming back, 3-betting ace-6-0 out of the big blind and getting that one through. But then lose the next one with pocket 6s to give some back. On this next one, I decided to put in a 3-bet with 3-4 hearts. And the reason I did this is because the opener from under the gun had shown 2 different open sizes. One was a 3x that was strength, and another was a min raise that was weakness. So when I saw him come with a min raise this time, I put in the 3-bet to 3,100 with my little suited connector from the button. But what I wasn't planning for was a cold 4-bet from the big blind, who clicks it to 6,100. The under the gun opener folds, and it's back to me. I obviously don't have a strong hand at all here, but my hand is very disguised, I'm very under-repped, and the price that I'm getting here is just way too good for me to fold when I have a suited connector and some potential to connect on a flop. So I call, and we take a flop, which comes ace-5-5, which I flopped the gut shot, but it's not exactly what I was hoping for. My opponent comes with a check, and in game I really felt like he was very, very strong, especially when he came with a 4-bet size that he did. It didn't feel like a type of 4-bet size that he wanted me to fold. And when he checks this flop, I have a very, very strong suspicion and fear that maybe he has aces full. For that reason, I don't want to bluff here. I check, and the turn is a 10. He checks again, and once again I'm not going to bluff. My opponent has around 15 to 20k back. It's not a spot that I really want to have to rely on him to fold. If he does have a hand like pocket aces, it wouldn't surprise me to see him check the flop and the turn here, especially with the stack to pot ratio that he has. I check back and the river is a 4. He checks, I check back again. He shows me pocket kings, which is a little bit sad to see. I maybe could have got him to fold that hand, but my image was a little bit crazy and I think it was a logically played hand. Still at 500 big blind, it folds to me in the small blind and I pick up 10 deuce offsuit, the Doyle Brunson. I decide I want to play this one aggressively, and I raise it up to 1,800. The big blind, who hasn't been V-pipping a lot, decides to call. He hadn't been playing a lot of hands, so that was the reason why I decided to take this line and try and win it pre-flop here. The flop comes king 7-7, and I put out a bet of 1,600. The big blind decides to click it back and puts in a raise to 3,500. Facing this raise in game, I'm kind of thinking, the line that I've taken, my range is really wide. I could easily have a hand like I do here. I talked myself into making a little bit of a play here. I raise it back now to 8,500, but unfortunately the big blind calls, and we go to the turn, which is a 10. Basically time for me to shut it down now. I check it over to him, and he fires out a bet of 11,000. I have an obvious fold. And yeah, I mean, in game, this felt like a reasonable spot to try and attack. I thought he could be a little bit weak here, but reflecting on it now, this is just very unnecessary. If I'm going to make this play, I should at least have something like 10 to a spades, maybe some sort of lifeline when he doesn't fold. This is a play I should not have made. In the main event, especially when it's 2-hour levels, it's probably best to not do this.
All right, we're moving to our new table draw. Table 540 C8 in the orange section. That was a horrible hour. Every spot just didn't work, but we still have 64.5K. We're going to come back.
We get to our new seat and lose a small pot with ace queen to ace king on a raggedy board, and then pick up queen 7 of spades in the big blind, facing a raise to 1100 from the hijack. We defend, and the flop comes queen 10 to all hearts. I decide to check, and my opponent checks back. The turn's a 10, and I think it's time to put a little bet out and deny some equity. I fire out 1100, and my opponent calls. The river is a 7 of diamonds. In this spot, the type of hands I would be looking to get called by if I was to bet would be a hand like maybe pocket 5s, pocket 6s with no heart. I think it's better to play this as a check call and let every other hand in his range have a chance to bluff at it here. So I check, but my opponent checks back and we win. It doesn't take me long to realize that this new table is a little bit less experienced than my first table. I pick up a pot with a light 3-bet on the button with ace 4 offsuit, and then I get another 3-bet through uncontested with king jack offsuit. I then see a flop with jack 9 of hearts and lose a small one, and then take a small one right back with ace 2 of diamonds, taking us into the last break of the night.
Last break of the night, we have 68.8K. So that was a bad level. We lost like 25K that level. We're on the way back up right now. We're feeling good. Got a new table draw, and this is what I wish I had all day. I wish I had a table like this all day long. I think I'm about to unleash this last level and just play super aggro. That's the plan on this last level, because everyone's limping and playing very, very soft. It's a lot different than my first table. This table's friendly and fun. Yeah, last break of the night, 1 level to go. Come back to 600 big blind, 68K, over 100 bigs. We're feeling fine. It'd be nice to get a premium or flop a set or something. Haven't had really any of those today, but we're saving those for later levels. We're saving those for day 2, day 3. Let's just bag it up. Let's get 100 and let's bag it. Let's call it a night at 100.
Coming back from break, we pick one up right away with king 8 of hearts, 3-betting and getting it through. And then we open 10-6 suited from the button, end up seeing all 5 and folding the river there. Continuing with the plan to be aggressive, I open 7-6 offsuit from the hijack to 1300 and get a call from the cutoff. The flop comes jack 9-2, which feels like a flop that smashes the imposition caller's range, so I check to him, but he checks back. And the turn comes king, which a lot of his range that connects with this card would probably be putting in a bet on the flop, which gives me the green light to go ahead and put in a nice little chunky bet here. I bet 2200, he folds, and we win that pot. Several hands later now, we pick up 6-5 of hearts in the cutoff and open it up once again to 1300. The button to my left comes along with the call as well as the big blind, and we go through 8 of the flop, which comes 8-8 deuce rainbow. The big blind checks to me, and this is the type of flop that can reasonably miss them enough of the time. I put in a c-bet of 1600 and get a call from the button and a fold from the big blind. The turn's a queen, and this card is a card that I want to continue betting, just in case the button has something like pocket 3s, pocket 4s, some suited aces that want to float the flop, and aren't doing that great on the turn with the queen peeling off. So I continue with 2800, and this time, the button finds a raise to 11,000, which ends the hand for me. I let this one go and lose a little bit there. The most awesome and unexpected thing ever happened next, when someone who recognized us from our videos came up to say hi and talk for a few minutes. It's always a really, really cool and meaningful experience to get to meet people who have seen our videos. We hit a little bit of a stretch of insignificant hands, losing back-to-back small pots with king jack of spades, followed by king 4 of spades. We then pick up ace 9 of diamonds, flop a flush draw and get a c-bet through on the flop, and then once again flop a flush draw, this time with 9 of spades, and take another small pot down on the flop with a c-bet. Facing an open from +1 to 1500, I pick up ace queen of diamonds in the hijack and 3-bet it to 4200. It folds back to the original opener who calls, and we go heads up to the flop, which comes ace queen 7. I flop top 2 pair, a great flop for me. I'm in position, it's on my opponent, and he does the last thing I wanted him to do. He open mucks his cards.
How do you know?
He claims he folded bottom 2 pair. I don't know how he knew, but he knew.
How do you know? These opponents are too good. I mean, I just flopped top 2 pair and open fold. I mean, he could have checked, but he opened folds.
I folded bottom two as well.
What a
So
fold.
crazy.
What a fold. How does he know?
Like I had mentioned, this table was a lot more fun. People were having a really good time. These two guys in particular, Hully and Robin, they brought the good vibes. We keep up the aggression with a couple of small suited connectors, losing one with 5-4 clubs, and then winning one back with 6-3 of hearts. We then see a flop 3 ways with pocket 9s and take it down. Next, we defend King 5 offsuit from the big blind versus a button open, and then take the aggressive route with a check raise bluff on an ace high flop, which gets it done. And then 3-betting King Queen suited against the same opponent the next hand we play, seeing a flop of 10-9-2 and having to bet fold very unfortunately to a really large check raise. He was nice enough though to show us a 7-9s. On the final hand of the night, I get dealt 6-2 of clubs, and most people just want to bag and get through the night. They're not really trying to play. So I decide to open this up, and I get a call from just the player to my left, and we go head to the flop, which actually comes pretty good. It's 6-5-3 with 2 spades and a club. Naturally, I c-bet this flop, and my opponent folds, which means we win the last hand of the night to take a little bit of momentum with us into day 2, which you're about to see, so don't stop watching.
So let's see, we got 25, 50, 54, 57, 58, 59, and 60. That's what we started with. We started with 60K. So we grinded all day. This is 60,000 to start, and we added a resounding 4,200. Grinded all day to add 4,200 to our stack. Hey, but at least we're still in the tournament. That's all that matters. Yeah, 64K. We can't all be legends like this guy right here.
240, 239.
Yeah.
The first main ever feels really good.
First main
Played
ever.
very well. It was very nice playing.
You played great, bro. You played great.
Man, to follow, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Just go.
All right, that's the end of the day. It's a blessing to still be in this tournament and being on day 2. So 80 big blinds on day 2. We're gonna feel great about it. And Amir has day 1D tomorrow. Let's go, Amir. I think he's gonna bag even more than I just bagged. Bag more tomorrow, Amir.
Let's go. Shane?
Let's go. Bag it up. Bag it up. Main event. Come back with 64K, Andrew big blind. Good luck us today. We're gonna need to grind this one up. Hopefully we end up with, what's the goal today? 150K to back? 150K. Let's make that our goal today. Let's get there. And let's go meet our new table mates. This is my table right here. Looked up my table, think it's a good table draw. The plan early is to come out aggressive. We'll adjust in game as we have to. So I'm seat 5, by the way. I'm gonna try my best to vlog these hands, but when there's someone to the left of you, someone to the right of you, like real tight and narrow, I don't want them to see my hands on my phone. So I'm gonna do my best.
I start off day 2 by defending ace-5 offsuit and then check folding on a king-king-10 flop to a c-bet. And then I pick up king-7 of hearts in the big blind the next orbit around and defend against the cutoff open to 2,000. The flop comes 6-5-3 rainbow with no heart. I check to him and he c-bets 1,500. I call with my 2 overs and a gut shot, and the turn's a 9. This is where I take control of the hand. If he has any type of Broadway hand, maybe something like ace-10 plus, king-queen, king-jack, queen-jack, these types of holdings, he's going to fold to a bet here. So I lead now for a bet of 3,000, and he decides to call. He obviously doesn't have one of those hands that I was targeting, but the river's an 8, which makes my straight, and I fire out a bet of 7,500. He ends up folding and we take that one down there. Next, I pick up ace-3 offsuit in the low jack and decide it's worth an open, and only the big blind calls, so we go heads up to the flop, which comes queen-jack 8, and he checks to me. If I'm c-betting here, I want to go pretty big. I want to put pressure on his jack-x, his 8x, make him think about folding a hand like 8-7 right now, right off the rip. So I make it 2,600, but he calls. When he calls here, he obviously has something, so I'm pretty much ready to shut down until the turn comes king. And now I know the only hands that really like seeing that turn card are king queen, king jack, maybe some king 8 suited, and some king x of hearts combos. He checks to me and I decide to go for another bet, this time 5,100. He folds and we get the bluff through and win that pot. Not too long later, I pick up ace-10 offsuit and min raise to 1,600 from +1. I get a call from the hijack, the button, and the big blind also defends, so we go 4-way to the flop, and it comes queen-10-6 rainbow. The big blind checks to me, and with 3 opponents in the hand, I don't think it's the time to put in a c-bet. Since it was all flats pre-flop, the queen really comes in around someone's range, so I check. The hijack also checks, and the button decides to bet 4,000. It's a bet that I'm willing to peel until the big blind calls as well, and now there's two opponents in there for a bet and a call in front of me. There's a good chance someone has a queen, so I just get out of the way here and fold. The hijack folds too, and they play a heads up pot to the river where king queen beats queen jack. Unfortunately though, the turn would have been a 10. I would have won a big pot. Moving forward now, I pick up king 8 of hearts, and facing a limp from under the gun, I decide to get aggressive here and make it 2600 from +2. What I didn't plan for though was the opponent 2 over to my left, putting in a massive 3-bet to over 10,000. It folds back to me, and I can't really continue here. I just have to give this one up. The next pot we play is a big one, which unfortunately I'm not able to get on camera. The opponent right next to me was in this pot, and sitting in seat 5, there's a real chance that someone next to you can snipe your cards when you look at them. So to be safe, I didn't peel my cards on camera, but here's how the hand went down. I raised it up to 1600 from the low jack with king 10 offsuit. The hijack calls, the cutoff calls, and both blinds call. We go 5-way to the flop, and it's king 5-4 with 2 clubs. Both blinds check to me, and I decide to c-bet around a third. I bet 3100, which gets a fold from the hijack, a call from the cutoff, a fold from the small blind, and a call from the big blind. We go 3-way to the turn, and the turn is an offsuit queen. The big blind checks to me again, and this is the first real decision point of the hand for me. Do I want to bet again? I think there's a good chance that the cutoff either has a better king than me or a flush draw. And the big blind, overcalling, capping the action on the flop, he can have some 4x, some 5x backdoor hands, maybe something like 6-5 suited that can still make something on the run out. So I decided it is worth another bet, and this time I bet 6200, which gets a call from both opponents once again. And the river is a 9 of diamonds. The big blind checks to me again, and this time I check. Over to the opponent in the cutoff in position. He decides to bet 17,000. The big blind gets out of the way and it's back to me. It's a really tough spot now. I have to figure out if he's bluffing or if he has it. At this point, he's either going to have a missed flush draw or some sort of value hand. So what value hands does he have? He can have king queen for top 2 pair. He can have a set of 5s, a set of 4s. I don't know how much he wants to play these as high variance as he did though with multiple players in the pot. And that's going through my mind here as I'm trying to decide what to do. Also, there is the one combo of jack 10 of clubs that did flop the flush draw initially, but ended up getting there with the runner straight. So his value hands are a little bit limited, but his line is a little bit strong. Which way do I want to go here? In the end, I decide my hand is relatively strong here to bluff catch. I call, and he shows me jack 10 of clubs. Really one of the only hands I was worried about here. And we lose a really critical pot. Trying to spin it back up now, I win a small pot, getting a race through with king 2 of hearts from the button. Now with 90 seconds left in the level, we get our next spot, facing a limp from under the gun for 800, a 3x to 2400 from +1, and a call from the low jack. I'm in the hijack with ace queen of hearts, and I have a decision now. I'm pretty confident that the original limper under the gun does not have a very strong holding. And same thing goes for the low jack, who decided to just flat the 3x raise. Now it's a matter of what does +1 have. He's been a little bit active, and I've seen him do this before where he raised over a limp and folded to further action. With just over 26k, I'm playing over 30 big blinds here, but with only 90 seconds left in the level, in my mind it really feels more like I have 26 big blinds. Taking all these factors into account, I decide to shove for my tournament life here, hoping to pick this one up pre-flop and get back to around 35,000. Action folds around a +1, the one range that could have me beat here, and he announces he's all in as well, putting me at risk for my tournament life. The low jack folds, and we flip over our hands. I'm hoping to see pocket jacks or pocket 10s here, but he shows me ace king. The flop gives me some chop outs, the turn gives me a flush draw, but the river unfortunately ends my main event, which is the biggest gut punch you can take as a poker player.
That's it. I'm out of the main event. Just a really, really disappointing, frustrating day. This is probably the most disappointed I've ever been, or the most disappointed I've been in a very long time to bust the tournament. And I think it's because I felt really ready this year. I felt very ready and very just capable this year. I'm happy with how I played. It's disappointing, but it's a learning lesson. Every time you bust a tournament, it's a lesson that can be learned. You know, you can always play better. There's always room for improvement. But yeah, it's over. It's over, and it really sucks. But thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna make a really good run one day at the main event. It wasn't the 2024 main event, but believe me, we're gonna make a really deep run one day in this tournament.